Hey, I'm Joe DiGiulio, and welcome back for another Jerry's Quick Lesson. Today's quick lesson is going to be on the antiquing process with the Matisse mediums. What we're starting with is, of course, the pre-antiquing medium, MM8. How this is used, it's actually as a sealer on a raw wood surface or a panel or whatever kind of substrate you happen to be wanting to apply an antique solution to. I'm just going to take a little bit on a rag, and you see it's white and creamy, but I'll rub it right in. This is going to actually provide some tooth to help the adhesion property of the color stain that's going to be applied to it afterwards. Just rub it in, and they say you should let it actually last for about a good hour before you go ahead and apply an antique varnish. So that's all you do with the pre-antiquing medium. It's just a sealer and add some tooth to help with the adhesion process. So that is the MM number 18. The pre-antiquing medium. Now I've already done on this surface right here the pre-antiquing medium because I wanted it to dry so we could go right into the process. Now you can either use oil antiquing mediums, which is the patina, or the water-based patina antiquing medium. And what's the difference between the two? Well, the water-based one is the one we can use with the Matisse Flow acrylics, whereas you will use the antiquing medium for oil-based for oil painting, for oil paints that you have. If you're going to use another line of oil paint, you can go ahead and use that with it. Okay. So what we're going to do, we're using the water-based patina here, and you want to add a solution that's going to be just 5% of paint. We're going to make a glaze out of this, 95% the medium. I mean, you can go more. You can add more of a stain to it, to just 5% paint. Because of the extra binder that is in the medium, it allows you to go ahead and use very minimal color to create a luscious stain. So what if I wanted to go ahead and just use my palette knife here, and I'm just going to blend it up. I want to break it down to as little as possible. Then I'll just take a rag, and this is just going to allow the paint to kind of go right into the wood there. You see, it just kind of creates a light stain, and because I'm using this rag, I can kind of work it in. And it's just the more I use of a color, the deeper richer I can make that stain. So I'm going to add a little bit more right now just to kind of produce different levels. Again, take a palette knife, but you can go, like I said, as little as 5 to 10%. To actually make this work for you. A little splash there. So as I increase the color, I'm going to increase the staining capability of that. And you can see right here, as I had the raw wood here, I've gone ahead and stained it afterwards. If I want to just take some paint straight out and actually do a dabbing process, I can do that as well. And you can see those kind of distressed effects you can get from just using the cloth. Also, I can take a brush and drag it through if I want to smooth it out or if I want to get some kind of striping effect. Just adding a little color now that I have the medium on there. And you see the original one was very light, but I can increase the color from a large range of stain from light to dark. And as I add more paint to it, I can increase that color. But the important thing is that the pre-antiquing medium was applied, so not all the color sucked right into the wood grain and then created a streaky stain. It has kind of immersed the color all over the wood area. So the more I add, and then there's all different kinds of effects you can do with brushes and stipples and badger brushes. So you can have a complete range of color stains where now I'm kind of removing with a dry brush. I can go from a lighter to a darker finish. And as I go, I can let that dry and do another layer, another layer, another layer. But the whole point is to go ahead and just continue to add until I get the layer of color that I desire. but it's just like glazing a plain blank piece of wood that has been sealed, first of all, with the pre-antiquing medium. So pre-antiquing medium down, let it go for about an hour. That's going to actually be the tooth for the antiquing medium, or the stain, if you will, to go ahead and grab hold of and keep the adhesion properties intact. Then it's the exact same process using the MM17, the oil antiquing medium. Instead of using an acrylic paint, we've used an oil-based paint. So this process of the pre-antiquing, then the pre-antiquing, then the water-based medium, and then the oil-based medium. It's a whole entire package that you can go ahead and actually do the stains on your wood frames or whatever kind of surface you want to create an antiquing look to.